Welcome to another edition of Wingers Gone Wild right here on Smart Remarks. So the Nuge, Ted Nugent, is actually coming here to Lancaster County. It's Wango, Tango! Nugent is going to be the featured guest at a Mannheim Gun Club for the inaugural Live Free PA event, where I predict he will be outraged over evil liberal plots to take away his guns, even though such plots seem to exist mostly in the fevered conservative mind.
All right! Is he Wango? Is he Tango?
Now, I think Nuge is a riot. Here's a guy who used to swing across rock and roll stages in a loincloth, who's since devoted his life to guns and bow hunting and killing things. There's a direct correlation. But he shows up here at a rather interesting time in our nation's history when we seem to be collectively losing our grip, and a lot of people have decided they're going to grab their friendly firearm and take a whole bunch of people down with them. Last weekend in Binghamton, New York, a guy walked into an immigration center, shot 13 people, and then himself. The very next day in Pittsburgh, a wannabe white supremacist grabbed his gun and ambushed and killed a bunch of cops. And the Pittsburgh case is really interesting because here's a guy, Richard Poplawski, who was terrified of the Jews and the conspiracy, and he was convinced the Obama administration was going to take his guns. Now, where do you think he would have gotten an idea like that?
The Second Amendment is under fire on a couple of things.
Do you think the likes of Beck might have been stoking that paranoia? You know, the Anti-Defamation League, among others, reported that Poplawski actually posted a Glenn Beck video to the Stormfront website. Now, I'm not blaming Beck for this. Obviously, Poplawski had a few loose screws rattling around in his head already, but do you think the rise of the militia media on Fox, the likes of Beck could have shaken a few more screws loose? You know, if you watch Beck or if you watch Hannity on a regular basis, my condolences. But you'll also realize that they've been talking about tyranny, and they've been talking about totalitarianism, and they've been talking about how the government's going to take away your rights. Presumably your gun rights as well. And so think about this for a moment. You know, if society is descending into totalitarianism, what do? Do you acquiesce? Or do you resist? Perhaps violently, perhaps with guns. In this era of economic frustration, when the right is babbling on about socialism and fascism and how Obama wants a one-world government and a single unified currency, we're going to see more of this. And so I'd like to think that Nugent will come here with a responsible message in which he will say, yes, we will oppose additional restrictions on firearms, but no, we're not talking about revolution. We're not talking about tyranny. We're not talking about overthrowing the government. I'd like to think that's what Nugent's going to say. I think he's probably going to say the exact opposite, though. I think he's going to walk right up to the edge of that cliff, and he's going to jump off, probably in a loincloth.
Everybody is absolutely outraged at the ineffectiveness of the bureaucratic joke.